All right. What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining today. We are live on Zoom and on Instagram. And you know what we're here to talk about? Here to talk about how to get published, not just anywhere. We want to get published in Vogue. We want to get published in high-profile magazines. And we're going to talk about how to do that today. And we're getting the call, jump started a little bit early. I dropped some comments here in the chat, and I always love to know, where are you tuning in from? So let's see what cities y'all dropped today. We got Carson City, Nevada, Philadelphia, Houston, Texas, Los Angeles, of course, Arizona, a growing community there. LA again, Oakland, Chicago, LA. Is that Ohio? I believe we got Ohio out here as well. North Carolina, what's up? South Carolina, there we go. And Georgia, Riverside, Nashville, Tennessee, Houston, Long Beach, Laredo. Am I saying that right? Laredo, Texas, New York City. Well, if you don't know, I am in Sacramento, California, way at the top. We're actually the capital. Everybody kind of forgets about Northern Cali, but we're about 6 hours away from Los Angeles. And yes, ModelCon will be in Los Angeles this year. So we're really excited about that. This is the sixth year that we've put this event together, and we're growing and we're expanding. As you see here, people are coming in from all around the country. And you saw from those testimonials of last year's event, they had lots of great things to say, and they were still there, still experiencing it. And the event wasn't even over yet, and just sharing their thoughts. And our goal here with everything that we do with ModelCon, with these live calls, is to give value, to put education at the forefront of this industry. Because me, myself, I've been doing photography for 17 years, going on 18. And I'm very much so self-taught. I've been doing it on my own. YouTube University. Say yes in the chat if you went to YouTube University. Like, you're just trying to figure it out, how to get to the next level, how to get to the top. How can I get published? How can I get signed? How can I get paid? How can I improve my skill set? And that was my journey as well. And along that way, I've met many models and photographers and designers and creators just like you, who started asking those questions. How? So I thought, what better way than to start our own coaching program and do these live calls and do the classes and lessons that we host here. But bigger and beyond that, how can we bring out the experts? How can we bring out the people who have been there and done that in their career, to have years and years of experience, to have been all the places that we want to be? How can we get them to come out and share their stories and tell us essentially how we can follow in their footsteps? So that's what we do. That's why we do it. And tonight is going to be no different. We have some exciting news, information that we're going to be sharing. We have a guest speaker coming on today who is actually one of our guest speakers for ModelCon 2025. He will be in Los Angeles this year, sharing not only tips about this subject getting published, but many, many others. So we're going to bring him up in just a few minutes. But first, I always like to know as well, not only where are you tuning in from, obviously all around the country, sometimes even the world, but also, is this your first time being on a call with us today? Is your first time, second, third? Maybe you've lost track and you come in every single week. We do this every Tuesday, 6 p.m. PST, might be 9 p.m. where you are. But let me know, is this your first time being here? That lets me know kind of, maybe you've heard some of this information before. You know who I am. You're very familiar with what we do. Let's see. Got a lot of first timers, a lot of first timers. Let me scroll up here. A lot of comments are coming in. Yes, first timer. Oh, yes. I think those are yes to like the self-taught people. Third time being here. Yes. Third time's a charm. No, not your first time. What's up, D-Ron? I know you're real familiar. You got a diamond badge to ModelCon already. What's up, Matt? First time. Jamila, first time, 14th time, Lewis says. Well, thank you for your dedication, following along on this journey, Lewis. Appreciate that. Second time, second, first. All right, so we're all over the place, but a little bit still in the beginning phases, a few newcomers as well. First time attending, lost track, Samantha says. That's what's up. What about Instagram? Where are we at? How many times have you guys been on our live calls? We got San Diego, we got Beverly Hills, Dallas, Turks and Caicos as well. So you got people outside the country. I love that. Who else? Second time being here. Well, thank you for being a part of the live call. By the way, if you're on Instagram and you want to join us on Zoom, the link is in our story. So if you go to the story, you'll get a Zoom link and then you'll be able to join the live call because here on Instagram, you can just see me. On Zoom, you'll be able to see our guest speaker and any information that we share on our screen here. Okay, sometimes we get that question. So speaking of sharing our screen, I'm going to jump right into that, not waste any time because I know our guest speaker is going to be joining in just a few moments if he hasn't already. But let's talk more about ModelCon. We got a lot of newcomers on the call today. So let's break that down. Let's break that down. What is ModelCon and what should you expect should you attend this weekend-long event, October 18th and 19th? This is a photo of all the guest speakers that we have so far. Let me see. Did we add anybody else recently that's not here? Not yet, but we have more people than this actually going to be present at ModelCon, speaking there and sharing their knowledge and insights. But who are these people? So let's talk about it. What is ModelCon? When is it? Where is it? Who's speaking there? And how do you get access to this one-of-a-kind event? So first and foremost, we have to make sure we're all on the same page. Yes, we're going to break down ModelCon, but we're going to switch it up a little bit for those who have been on these calls before. You know a lot of those details already, but we're here today because we want to know how to get published in Vogue. So we're going to have a conversation specifically about that. You can probably see I have my notebook here. I'm ready to take some notes myself. And we're going to get hopefully a step-by-step process so we can all start to elevate ourselves, our career, and our portfolios all at once tonight. All right, so let's jump right into it. ModelCon 2025. First of all, we are the largest modeling conference in California. I don't know of any other events that are designed like how we build this up from scratch. I mean, this literally is just an idea that came to mind and we've built it up, built it up, built it up. Literally the first ModelCon, we used to call it Model Boot Camp when it first originated, but I changed the name about a year or 2 years ago, just because everybody has a model boot camp. Model boot camp is everywhere. Everybody's doing it. And there was no like branding to that name. So I changed the name to ModelCon, I think 2023. And we've been rolling with it ever since. And I feel like that just has a nice ring to it that differentiates us from everyone else. But what do we do? Well, not only we're the largest modeling conference now, but we're designed to do the 3 E's. So we call education, entertainment, and empowerment. That's what we want you to experience when you come to ModelCon. The education, of course, is how. What did you not know before? What is the steps that's going to get you where you want to be in your career, whether it's a signed model, a freelance model, an actor, a photographer, designer, makeup artist. We're going to talk about these subjects and together we elevate. So how are we going to do that? Through the education process. We always put that at the forefront of everything. Of course, we want to do that and be entertaining. So we'll have live entertainment, we'll have interactive booths, we'll have contests and other things that you can network and be a part of that's going to make this a really fun, because it is an all day long environment. But last but not least, empowerment. Empowerment to us means what is the steps that you're actually going to walk away from? Maybe you've gone to conferences before, maybe you've gone to see motivational speakers and it's like, rah, rah, rah. Yeah, I'm excited. Then you walk away. I'm like, okay, but what do I actually do? So that's what we want you to walk away with. The empowerment is when you leave this event, you have a clear set of direction and a pathway to get to where you want to be. So it's a one long, unforgettable weekend. We do that through panels and keynotes. We have conversations with our guest speakers, with agency scouts, supermodels, celebrity photographers, and more. And we ask them the tough questions. And sometimes you might get an answer to a question you didn't even know to ask. And why is that? Because you're hearing direct experiences from people, like I said earlier, who have been there and done that. Speaking of which, you see images of myself here and my co-host Fatima Irvin in the top corner. The lady with her arm raised, that is Luciera, supermodel. She was earlier giving a testimonial as well. And her resume and her career is a mile long. So just being able to have people of this caliber and this level of experience at our events is truly an honor. And I'm really grateful to have had her time. And hopefully, maybe we'll get her to come back in the future. So, yes, we do panels, we have keynotes, we have agency scouts. So we have multiple agents that will be coming out, again, talking about things from their perspective. What do they look for when they sign models? What should you expect from the agency before and after you get signed? How do you determine if this is an agency that you actually want to be signed to in the first place? So it should be a two-way street. It should be a win-win scenario. It's not always, maybe picture it in your mind, just submitting, waiting to hear back, crossing your fingers and getting a contract just to get a contract back that maybe it doesn't operate in your favor, or sitting with an agency that doesn't get you the jobs that you're actually looking to get. So you have to understand the perspective of the agency and how to analyze them to make sure that you are on the correct pathway for yourself. There are actually multiple different types of agencies, and we're going to talk about all those things here at ModelCon as well. But not only that, you'll have the opportunity to submit to those agencies, shake their hands, turn in comp cards. And if you're a diamond badge, you'll get the opportunity on day 2 of ModelCon to actually get an in-person interview on the spot with these agency scouts for potential representation. So let me know here in the chat. And if you're on Instagram as well, let me know the answer to this question. Do you want to be a signed model, or are you team freelance? Which one are you? Sometimes it's divided. Sometimes you're like, hey, I just want to be freelance. I don't want to get a contract. I'm doing my own thing. I can get paid on my own. Or you're like, hey, I definitely want to be signed. I want to work with these major brands and these companies. I want somebody to represent me and back me up legally. Where are you guys at with that? Are you team signed or team freelance? Rosalind says she definitely wants to be a signed model. I see Instagram. I see dropping some chats in here as well. Team freelance over here. Anybody else? Let's see. Signed. Definitely looking to be signed. Grace Bell says, I'm not aware of the differences yet. So that's important. There's mother agencies, there's talent agencies, there's modeling agencies, there's boutique agencies. I mean, there's different kinds, right? So just knowing that alone is already may overwhelm you if you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping to get a contract back just to not actually be with the right type that that matches your goals. So let's see. Someone says, I want to be published in Vogue, but still contractor for hire. So you want to be freelance, but you want the opportunities that maybe you think only signed models get. That's kind of what I'm getting from that. Lizette says freelance. Matt says, I was signed for a year. It helped me gain experience, but they never booked me. I booked a lot with well-known brands on my own. I would like to be signed to a better agency to see if it's really worth it. So yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about there, Matt. Sometimes you're just with the wrong company. And then there's many reasons, right? Maybe it's the right company, but your portfolio wasn't developed yet. Or maybe they had so many models on their agency, you kind of fell through the cracks, so maybe a smaller agency would be better for you in the beginning. So you have somebody that's actually focusing on you instead of dealing with hundreds and hundreds of other models. I need more info with agencies, but I'm freelance now. I'll read this last comment here. Says, I'd like to be signed and work with major agencies in print, high fashion, and runway. I'd also like to transition into reality TV and acting roles. So definitely a talent agency would be ideal for you. So we have all those types of agencies at ModelCon. So you'll get to hear from their perspectives and learn the differences and so on. So these are the type of conversations we like to have, and hopefully you'll gain some value, not just on agencies, but on many other categories of modeling as well. Speaking of which, hands-on training. We're going to do hands-on lessons with you. We're going to do posing and runway lessons. If you are a diamond level badge, you will get access to a 2-hour training with myself and my coaching team, where we will walk you through the foundational steps of how to improve your runway walk and your posing and your confidence subsequently. So how do we do that? We're going to have on October 19th, this is the second day of ModelCon. Again, this is only for our diamond badge holders because we can only train up to 100 people. Both the in-person submission that we just spoke about with our agency scouts and the hands-on training lessons are reserved for our diamond badge holders. We have a maximum capacity, a limit for up to 100 people to be in these categories. Why is that? Because we can't train 500 models at once. We can't have 500 models doing an in-person submission. It would be overwhelming to the team, to the agencies, and to you yourself. So we have to have a little bit of restriction on that. So if you want to get access to our training, you want to get access to those in-person interviews with those agency scouts, you definitely want to go diamond. But if you're not interested in training or getting signed, maybe you just want to be part of that day one networking and the panel discussions and work your own magic because that's your lane, then great. You can do that too. There's different tier levels that you can get access to ModelCon, but these are for the people that want to go all the way big. Rosalind says, I'm looking to upgrade to diamond. Duran says, supermodel. Jamila, I'm open to both, but I want to learn more. So absolutely. And we're going to keep on going through that. I'm going through these slides a little bit faster because I know we have a special guest and a major topic to get on tonight, but I want to give you the foundation of ModelCon before we jump right into the Vogue info, if that's okay. All right, so what else is going to happen there? We have awards and certificates. We have students that have gone through our coaching program. They have completed all of the assignments. They've gone through the steps. So we'll have a graduation ceremony for our students, and they'll get to cross the stage and earn their certificate of completion in front of everyone as well. We also usually have a valedictorian, as you see here, Evan Navarro, Avir Evergreen, as he goes by on the runway, got our valedictorian last year, and he got a special certificate and prize for that. And of course, he got to give an acceptance speech, and these are the images that you see of him doing so. So always one of our favorite parts of ModelCon is seeing our students be able to just be honored and receive their roses in front of everyone through all their hard work. And so where is ModelCon going to be? Los Angeles, yes, but we will be at a place called Fearless LA, which I thought was very fitting for this type of industry. We have to be fearless as we go after our goals, after the dreams that we aspire to accomplish one day. So here we are in a venue that's literally named after a mindset that we should be attacking these goals with, being fearless. And inside this room, we will have vendors. We'll have live photo shoots with photographers that you can build your portfolio with on the spot. Of course, networking, live performances, competitions and contests, interactive booths. All sorts of things will be happening all day long inside this first day venue, October 18th at Fearless LA. Day two, again, day two is going to begin with our physical training for our diamond badge holders and the in-person agency submission. If you are not diamond and you're VIP, then you will get access to day two, in which case you will again be able to get access to our vendors market, participate in live photo shoots and interactive booths. But we will be at the Alexandria Ballrooms, a very beautiful location, a very old historic home type of vibe with the chandeliers and big doors. I love this setup here. We actually got a chance to tour both of these locations about a week ago. We went down to LA and looked at these places in person, and we'll get more details and content we'll be rolling out on our social medias about our experiences there. But this will also be where our fashion show is located. So many of you may already be on our fashion show list, coming to our casting call on August 9th. If not, you will be receiving an email, a reminder of when that casting call is. And if you'd like to register to be a part of it, you definitely can. What we are looking for from our fashion show is models with experience, models with confidence, models with poise, Again, like I said earlier, we put education at the forefront of ModelCon. So that means our fashion show has to be well put together. It has to be with models who have the skill and the confidence to walk accordingly. Because if you're a brand new model, yes, you may have this desire to be on that runway, but first, let's absorb, let's learn through observation and have these models walk in the show. And you're, from that perspective, learning, oh, this is how a professional model should walk. This is how a professional model should carry themselves and how they should pose at the end of the runway. A lot of new models and beginners when they walk on the runway, and it's amazing that you got that opportunity. Everybody should deserve to get their first time, but sometimes there's a lot of mistakes that can be easily avoided when you get the proper training or you understand how a runway should professionally be. So that's what we're looking for from our runway models. If you want to be in the show, come to the casting. If you can't come to the casting, we will begin virtual submissions August 10th. If you are casted for the show, I always have to make sure I say this and make it clear. If you are casted for the show, you're in the show. If you want to be participate in the whole weekend of experience, everything that we've just got done explaining on day one, the training, the panels, the networking, the photo shoots, you want to experience all those things, then you must purchase a badge to participate. But you do not need to purchase a badge to participate in the fashion show. So some of you are going to decide, I don't care about any of that other stuff. I just want to walk in the show and that's it. Great. You get casted for the show, you're in the show. You want to participate in everything else, purchase a badge, and that's how we're going to separate the two. All right. So we're going to jump forward here. We do have a hotel that's less than 10 minutes away from the venues. And so if you're flying in, you're from a different city or state, you can go straight to the hotel. You can take an Uber or Lyft directly from there to the venues. It's less than 10 minutes away. We made it really, really convenient for you. And by the way, at the end of this call, I will share how you can get a discounted rate on that hotel room. So let me stop sharing my screen here and see if our guest speaker has already joined the chat. If you're on the call, okay, he's here. All right, great. How many of you right now in the chat, let me hear you say yes in the chat if you want to know how to get published in Vogue magazine. How to get published in Vogue magazine. Let me hear you say yes, because our guest speaker is waiting and he wants to know that you want this information too. If you don't want it, then we don't have to do this. So put us in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking, what you're feeling. And by the way, this guest speaker has been to ModelCon 2024. He was in such high demand that we decided to bring him back. His information was clear, it was direct, it was to the point. Sometimes people can take it the wrong way. Maybe it's a little harsh, but it's always going to be the truth and it's always going to be in your favor because we want to see you grow and succeed. And we're not going to be able to do that and sugarcoat the information. So if you have questions, definitely ask them. Be prepared for a very direct and straightforward answer. This man here is a celebrity photographer, luxury brand photographer, creative director, show producer, best-selling author. He's been published in Vogue, American Vogue, 4 times, the cover of Vogue Japan. He's also been published in American GQ, GQ Italy, Elle, Harper's Bazaar, and more. Let me check the chat. Yes, 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 most definitely. Yes, multiple S's, 3 yeses, big yes. All right, great. So let's bring up our guest speaker. Let me go ahead and pin him. I got to go find him again. Here he goes. Let me pin our guest speaker. Maybe you could just unmute yourself and I could find you that way.
I am here. Hello, everybody.
All right, awesome. Let me go ahead and pin you. Say something else so it turns green when you talk.
Say something else. Say something else.
There we go. All
What's up,
right.
everybody? Hello. How y'all doing?
Hello,
Such
hello,
beautiful,
Blake.
beautiful faces.
Thank you for joining our call today again. It's good to see you.
Absolutely good to see everybody as well.
And you're in Chicago right now. What time is it where you are?
It's early. It's 8:30 p.m. It's early in the day.
All right, awesome. So it's early for you. What time you going to bed these days?
3 or 4 a.m. is a roughly good going to bed hour for professionals like myself.
I expected you to say something along those lines. I know you're very busy. and we were texting a little bit ago, and you were just telling me about your day. So if you want to kind of recap, what does your day-to-day lifestyle look like before we jump into this information today?
Sure. Because I wear a lot of different hats and do a lot of things, my day to day is wildly chaotic. But in addition to fashion shows, photography, and all of that, I am a writer and a director as well. So, today, I had a 11 a.m. meeting with a large artist in regards to me being creative director for the music video. Left that particular meeting. What was that, 12? I had a meeting with Hulu. I am a writer for Hulu for a Hulu TV show. And so I had a meeting about script that I have to turn in by the end of tomorrow. Then I had 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. auditions for another feature film I am casting director of. And then I went into a 5 p.m. meeting about a Paris fashion show that I am showrunner for. After that, I went into rehearsal for my own feature film that I'm writing, producing, and directing. I hung up from rehearsal about 4.5 minutes ago, and then I jumped into this call. So it's been a long day. So I will eat at some point today. That has not occurred just yet. So
Yeah,
I'm here with all you beautiful people now.
we appreciate you being here and taking the time out of your busy schedule to do so. And I know that was quite the introduction. People are already sending cheers and saying booked and busy, and that's how we like it. And this is the caliber of people that we bring out, and being able to share insights from someone of your experience is definitely, I would think, a rare case in this industry. So. We're excited to learn from you and hear what you have to say about being published. I know there's a mile-long list of accomplishments that you've done in your career. I kind of introduced you already, but if you want to add anything to that, then you can now, or we can just jump straight right into your experience as being published.
Yeah, I mean, you gave a great introduction, which I appreciate. Only thing I will add is that my experience has crossed over several genres, industry sectors. I started off my career as a background dancer. I was a longtime dancer for a group that some of you may know by the name of B2K. And then I toured for a short period of time with an artist by the name of Rihanna. And then I toured with an artist by the name of Sierra. I was blessed enough to do those tours, but I also give the caveat that this was very, very, very early in their career when we were performing, and people were like, "Who the hell is that?" So by no means was I on the mega stages, but I was performing with these artists in their beginning stages. And then I became a fashion show producer, in which I was on the board directing New York Fashion Week for several years. I produced the 2018 and 2019 runway shows for Gucci, Tommy Hilfiger, so on and so forth. And then when the pandemic hit, that's when I decided to be a photographer. So I've only been a photographer for 4 years. But I've been very blessed in those 4 years. As he said, I've had the cover of Vogue Japan. I've been in American Vogue 4 times. I've done 12 Times Square billboards and about 56 other magazine covers across the world. So very blessed in my career, and everything I've ever done has been self-taught. So I say all that to say, don't feel like you need to have this formal education. You need to have these high profile mentors or anything like that. Everything I've ever done, I've just decided to do and went after it and got it done. So if I can do it, definitely you can as well.
Awesome. That's amazing. And I think the B2K backup dancer is my favorite part of your story.
Yeah, very long ago in my career, but yeah, I did that while I was still in high school. So I was touring while I was a junior in high school. So very, very long ago.
All right. Well, let's give the people what they want to hear. And I
Yeah.
actually have my pen and pad out here too, because we were texting again a little bit about this, and I kind of have my assumptions of some of these publications and how you get featured in them. So there's people on the call who are photographers, there's people
Okay.
on the call who are models, and a couple of makeup artists even reached out to me and say, "Hey, I would love to have my work featured in these magazines, and how do we
Okay.
go about doing that?" So this from scratch. Let's say we have little to no experience in any of these categories. We just have the desire to be
Yep.
published. What is some of the first things that we should know before we can even entertain the idea of seeing our work here?
Absolutely. So I think the first thing that I tell people is that the misconception is that the industry will change and alter for you. And that is not the case. You have to do the work and being what the industry is already wanting, accepting, and coveting. And what I mean by that is so often I see a photographer, right? And they're like, I want to have my images, my work in Vogue, the cover of Vogue, so on and so forth. But that photographer is great, but they only shoot urban imagery. They only shoot jeans and t-shirts. They only shoot swimwear. They only shoot that style of images. And so I often say, if Vogue is the highest level of high fashion magazine, how do you ever think your work is going to be featured in said magazine when you are not shooting at that level of high fashion imagery, right? The same goes for models. Models always say, well, I want to be featured in Vogue, but they are not shooting with photographers and not shooting the style that would ever be naturally published in Vogue. And that's not a talent thing. That's not to say, oh, you're not good enough. It's simply saying you're not shooting in the ways that Vogue presents imagery in their publication. It's really the bare bones start of it that simple. So you have to start doing the research, the work, and the teaching of yourself to shoot and be captured in the ways that Vogue is gonna want. So when you are wanting to be in Vogue, but you're only shooting swimwear, I say that sounds like I want to be in the NFL, but I only practice basketball.
Hmm.
What's happening here? NFL scout is never going to see you if you're only on the basketball court. So that's number one. And so I want to talk about kind of the process of the three ways you can potentially get in Vogue. And the first, which is what most people do, is you pay. It's really that bare bones simple. You pay. So my very first time being in Vogue, while it was a privilege and an honor to be in Vogue, my work was about a 2-inch square. And it was featured in the issue that had Beyonce on the cover, but it was a 2-inch square in one of those trends of the season type pages, right? And so a designer reached out and said, I'm going to have a spread or an image in Vogue, and I would love for you to photograph it. She was an accessories designer, a purse designer. So I put a pitch together of how I would shoot this model with her purse and all of that, shot it, it ended up in Vogue. Great. But realistically, how she got that image in Vogue was simply to pay. Now, I know that sounds simple, like, oh, I'll just go and pay and do that. But that 2-inch square was $14,000.
I did not expect you to say that.
That 2-inch square was $14,000. The minimum for Vogue magazine for a full page is about $35,000.
Wow.
So if you're a photographer, a designer, whomever, you can reach out and say, I want to purchase a page in this publication. And that's about the quote it's going to be. Now, keep in mind, you still can't forgive my language. You still can't give them bullshit. It still has to be at a certain caliber, a certain level, a certain standard for Vogue, but you can pay. The second way is agent. And I say that to everybody on the call because so often people hear the word agent and equate that just to models. When in reality, photographers have an agent, makeup artist, have an agent. All the people you see with these bigger campaigns, they're booked through an agency. Does everyone know why bigger companies, bigger publications, bigger designers only work with agencies?
That's a great question. While you guys are thinking about that answer, let's not skip over this investment of paying to be featured in a major publication like Vogue, 14 to $35,000 for a 2-inch square up to a full page. And that is what it is, right? And obviously, if they're charging that, people are doing it. They find value in doing so. My question um, is in your opinion, if someone is to do that, I don't know if you've done that yourself, but if
I've not.
someone is to do that, what is the major benefit to them? Like what entices them to write that big of a check to be published here?
So it's a long game. And I say it's a long game because certain recognitions yield bigger results. So I'll put it to you like this. If, again, my first time being in Vogue, I was just blessed that a designer was like, I love your work. I'm gonna buy this ad. Will you be the person to shoot it? Sure. I was blessed to get that opportunity. But the minute that 2-inch square of mine was in Vogue, my rate doubled, tripled instantly,
Mm.
instantly, right? So while I didn't make the investment, even if I did, that's why you make that investment. So I'll put it in this perspective for models. A lot of models see the cover of Vogue and think, not only is that holy grail, but I cannot wait to make that kind of money. But I hate to tell you this, but that kind of moment comes with zero money. I'm honest about that, right? And so here's the reason why. If you give me, whoever's a model in here, give me your name. Somebody just comment or give me a thumbs up or something in the chat. I just need Roslyn. Okay, I see Roslyn. So if I am a designer or magazine editor, editor-in-chief, whomever, and we're putting someone on the cover of Vogue, and we're gonna pick Roslyn to be on the cover of Vogue. I know that realistically, Roslyn may not be a big return on my investment. And what I mean by that is if I put Beyonce on the cover, I know instantly I'm gonna sell millions of copies because she is her. I'm gonna make, if I have to pay Beyonce $2 million to be on the cover, we're gonna make that back times a million. If I put Rosalind on the cover, not that she's a bad model, but nobody's running to buy it for Rosalind. So what happens is they will say, Rosalind, do you want to be on the cover of Vogue? Yes. And they're going to tell you, great, it shoots in 2 days in Cape Town, South Africa. You need to be here for 4 days. See you when you get there. Guess what Rosalind has to do? Buy her own flight, book her own hotel, pay for her own car service. So she's gonna instantly come out $4 or $5,000 instantly. And she's not gonna get paid for that job, not a dime. But what then happens once the Vogue magazine cover comes out, everyone else that now wants to work with Rosalind has to pay more because now she is a Vogue cover model.
Mm.
It's almost like when you hear actresses say, "Oh, I did this movie for 6 months and I for free. I didn't get paid a dime, but I won the Academy Award. And now that I'm an Academy Award winning actress, everybody else has to pay me more." So you're doing it for the long game, if that makes sense.
Right, right.
So I've had friends who have been on the cover of Vogue and they're like, I had to get myself there and pay for my hotel and pay for my own car service and pay for I came out 5, 6, $7,000 easily. Easily. But then in the long run, my rate went from $400 a day to $2,500 a day instantly because I was on the cover of Vogue.
Makes
That's
sense.
why that investment comes with it.
So you have to have a business mindset when you are attempting to accomplish something of this caliber. you have to know, okay, there's going to be steps to this process. There's going to be an investment on my end, but I know if I do these things, how I can alter and change the trajectory of how do things moving forward. So
Correct.
the mindset has to be there first. So now that we have this knowledge, we're now mentally preparing for if we're even able or willing to put ourselves in position to do so. And
Right.
so you are now on part three. You start talking about agents and agencies and why agents are, why these magazines, these companies, they want to go through agents in order to find the talent that they're looking for. A few answers
Perfect.
here said agencies are legitimate and credible establishments. Taylor says professional experience and the work done guaranteed. Margaret says liability and legal protection. Yeah,
Yeah.
liability and legal protection. So those are the answers we
All
got.
those answers are spot on and correct. When someone hires an agency, there is a liability and guarantee attached to it. So let's just take it from a photographer perspective, but this goes for everyone. I am the features editor at Vogue magazine, and I am looking for a photographer to come and shoot a campaign for us. So I hire Christopher. Day of the shoot comes, we've put in $350,000 into the shoot. And I know that sounds like a big number, but those shoots you see in Vogue magazine, sometimes that's the investment of money they've put into the shoot, right? And so we've hired Chris, and Chris isn't signed with an agency. We just really love his work. Day of the shoot come, Chris, for whatever reason, couldn't board the flight. Christopher did something, mistakenly got arrested that day. Chris overslept. Chris couldn't find the shoot location in New York. A bunch of things can happen. Chris didn't make it. So now $350 for the day is gone down the drain. Versus Chris is signed to an agency. So we reach out to ModelCon agency to book Chris. Something happens the day of with Chris. We ring the phone, bring ModelCon agency. Where the hell is Chris? Oh, we are so sorry that something happened. Unfortunately, he was unable to board his flight from LA to New York. However, one of our New York photographers is already 5 minutes away. We've already sent his replacement. He's already on the way. We're so sorry for the miscommunication and the setback of the day. That's why they only work with agencies. It's really that simple. The same goes for a model. If you are a model, and I hope I pronounced it correct, Obed. Did I pronounce that correct? We book Obed for a photo shoot, and something happens with Obed the day of the shoot, and he had a breakout, or he broke up with his girlfriend the day of, and now he's too sad to do the shoot, or he got food poisoning, or whatever. But he's not signed. We are screwed. We're screwed. Versus we just call the agency and say, who else you got that look like Obed? They're gonna say, we have 14 other guys that look just like him. Which one you want? Well, he'll be on the way in 10 minutes. That's why people go to agencies
Right.
because it's an insurance, a guarantee, and a comfort within it. Not going to agencies leads you open to too much liability the day of. So a lot of people aren't aware that photographers have agencies, models have agencies, makeup artists have agencies. I had an agent, and all you do is sit by the phone and they call you and say, hey, so a brand called Dolce and Gabbana is looking for a photographer on the 15th. You interested? The day rate is 3,500. Sure, book me. Great. We'll send you the email confirmation of your flight and the deposit by the end of the day. It's really that simple. I don't have to go back and forth with Dolce and Gabbana and tell them this is my rate, this is what I require. I require a first class flight, I require this on set, I require 2 lunch breaks. My agency does all that negotiation. So all I have to do is show up and be creative. That's the point of it. But if I have to go back and forth with Dolce and Gabbana, and I'm like, well, I'm also on a shoot, and I'm also doing this Zoom with ModelCon, and I'm also Dolce and Gabbana's like, we've been waiting on a response from you for 8 hours. What's happening? My agent is available 24/7 to respond at all times of the day and night to get me that job because they only get paid when I get paid. So they're responding in blink of an eye in seconds. So that's the comfort, the negotiation, and the privilege of being signed with an agency. Now, The last way you can be featured possibly in Vogue, and I talk how I talk, I'm sorry, is being fucking incredible and shooting your shot. When I got the cover of Vogue Japan, I shot my shot. I DM'd Vogue Japan and I said, very boastfully on purpose, you guys have great covers, but I rarely see black models on these covers, and to me, that's a problem. So your next cover should be with black models, and I should be the one shooting it. And they responded, great, let's set it up. That's it. But I had to, for a year, be intentional about I'm only photographing things that look like how Vogue Japan features their covers. Because when I shot that DM, I couldn't have them go to my page and then say, well, he doesn't even shoot stuff that looks like us. What is he talking about? I had to be intentional for a full year. I'm only shooting things that look like Vogue Japan. How they style their models, how they do the makeup on their models, how they pose their models. Because when I shoot my shot, I better be ready. Because I only get one shot. Because if they would have went to my page and was like, the work is not up to par. No matter how much I grew and got better and better, the door would have been closed. So you have to be intentional about that. It's almost like um knowing the person you want to ask out. So for 6 months, you're like, okay, well, they like this type of person and how this kind of person dresses and how this person talks. So for the next 6 months, I'm gonna alter everything about me to get their attention. Because if I ask them out and I'm not what they're looking for, I will never get a chance to ask them out again. That's how you have to approach that, if that makes sense.
So before you do any of this, the first thing you should be doing is working on your skill set.
Yes, 100%. 100%. And I don't want to say a lot of people don't, but a lot of people don't want to put in that amount of work. Um, a lot of my colleagues in the beginning, right, of my career as a photographer would often tell me, you are doing way too much. Like it's just not that serious because I found a studio. I begged. I was like, listen, I'm new and I just want to learn. I just want to learn. I cannot afford your hourly rate to rent this studio. But if you allow me, I will sweep, I will mop, I will do whatever you need me to do. I just need to be in here and shoot. And they said, cool. And I swept, I mopped, I did the things, but I was in the studio, not exaggerating, 17 hours a day, every day. I'm going to wake up, I'm going to shower, I'm going to brush my teeth, and I'm going to go to the studio. And I'm not leaving until after they've closed down. And I'm just in here working on what does this button do? What do these lights do? If I switch the light to this side of the frame, what does it do? Okay, if I add two lights, what does that do? I'm just learning and growing. And then within 6 months of being a photographer, they was like, you're in Vogue? Yeah, because I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted. So I'm gonna put in the laborious hours of honing my craft and getting there while you dream of being in Vogue and you shoot every few weeks or so. You want to play that slow race? Have at it. I'm not playing that game. I want it and I want it now. And then I had it. So within a year of being a photographer, brand new, self-taught, I was in Vogue twice, two Times Square billboards, and I became the editor-in-chief and creative director of Malvi magazine in Paris, all as a first year photographer. Whereas my friends and colleagues were like, I've been a photographer for 15 years. What the hell is going on? Not my problem. When you want something, you run after it. There is no slow race that's never going to get you there. You got to Simone Biles that thing, right? You got to go after it and you got to be a Olympic champion about the training you want to do in your craft, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate you sharing the mindset behind that because people see overnight success and they hear those stories, but they don't know the back end of things of what actually went into it that got that person in that position. And people even close to you, they've seen the journey maybe up closer than a lot of us have, and still are surprised and shocked to see the result that came out of it in such a short time frame. So I guess that leads to, obviously, we talked about the skill set, the quality of work, getting with an agency, having somebody help represent you to get your foot in the door, literally just making it transactional and paying a fee. But the mindset is really where it all started. And I think a lot of people, especially in the beginning phases of their journey, rather they're model, photographer, or so on, that there isn't a lot of clarity. There isn't a narrow goal of direction that they want to go in. So, how did you find that line of this is what I want and this is the only thing I'm going to go after? Because majority of people, especially models, I ask this question all the time: what type of model do you want to be? Runway, commercial, print, editorial, and everywhere. Photographers, when I first started, I'm not ashamed to admit, I was just shooting whatever came my way. I'm
Mhm.
photographing babies, weddings, families, headshots, portraits. Oh, you're going to pay me to do it? Okay, great. Then that's what I'm going to do. And some of that can be
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Be
location,
very
right?
clear on that.
Uh-huh.
There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's a misconception. But again, intention is important, right? So, let's just say if I knew you in the beginning stages of your career and you're like, I want to be Vogue magazine photographer, but babies and toddlers and school pictures and all the things are paying me, I'd be like, great, still do all of those things. Who in the hell said the world needs to know you do them? Do them. Make your money. I hate shooting babies and sweet 16s, and I hate it. But sometimes to pay the bills, I do it. But you know what you'll never see? That on my Instagram, those on my website, because that's not my lane. So even as a model, you're like, well, I think, and this is what frustrates me so much about models. Like, well, the photographer asked me, but I really didn't want to do it, or it's really not my vibe, or it's really not. Then do it. Make the $100 to do it, but you don't. Who said you had to post it? Who said you had to put it on your Instagram? You don't. Oh, and also, the other thing to learn is be subjective. Do you know how many times as a photographer, and I'm sure Chris has experienced this, other photographers have experienced this, we're in the shoot and we're like, this is gas. Best thing I've ever shot. The world is gonna hate me. I'm so good. And then you get home like, wait a minute. No, what is this? I don't, this was definitely not my best day. As creators, you have to learn how to edit. When I say, oh, this is not a good shoot for me, I just don't upload it. The problem with models, especially I see, is that you feel like, well, it's me. I did the shoot. I want the world to see and feel like I am working and I'm doing a thing. So I'm uploading the picture no matter what. If the picture's bad, the picture's a wash. Don't upload it because your Instagram, your website is your resume. So if you worked at McDonald's and you quit after 2 days, you'd be like, that is not a good look. I'm not putting that on my resume. The
Right.
same should go with your images. That was not a good shoot for me. The world will never see this. And so it's about intention. You have to know this is what I'm going for. So this is the only thing I'm putting out into the world. Do you know how many times I've looked at interviews with singers who have gone on to be like major, major, major singers, Victoria Monets and the Tylers and the Kelly Prices of the world. And they'll be like, well, before this, I was a background singer for, New Edition for 15 years. And people are like, how are we just noticing this? Because my goal was never to be a background singer. So I'm not going to keep putting out into the atmosphere that I'm a background singer because then you'll only see me as a background singer. To
Mhm.
the outside world, I want you to know I'm main character singer. I'm a solo artist. I just do background singing because I got a gas bill and I need groceries. But the world will never know that. So
Yeah.
start curating your page, your website, what you put out in the world based on what you want the world to see you as. And the other caveat to that is finding what your value is. There are too many models and too many photographers and too many designers in the world. It's millions of us. What are you doing that's going to be different? What do you do this is going to be different? And that kind of led to part of why I became successful so quickly, because I would be the person if uh let's see, I'm just gonna pick a name. I don't know if he's a model or photographer, but let's say Tim was a model and said, "Hey Blake, I want to come and shoot with you. I think you're great." And I said, "Great, Tim. Let's set it up. So what are we thinking for wardrobe?" He's like, "Yo, I got this great suit. It's a black suit. I'm thinking white shirt and black tie." I'd be like, "Great, love that." So I was thinking we should pour a bucket of honey on you and then release some bees. How about that? Or, if Sierra would say, "Oh, I have this beautiful gown," I'd be like, "Great. So can I throw you in the pool?" Because I only want to do editorial stuff. I have zero interest in doing some boring ass shoot. If you come in with me, you're gonna be like, "Now, what kind of nonsense is this?" But that's why I grew successful so quickly. People were like, "What he's doing over there, ain't nobody else in this city doing." So that's who I want to give my money to. So as a creative, you then have to ask yourself, what am I adding into the world that nobody else around me is doing? If you're a photographer in Arizona, what is no other photographer in Arizona doing? If you're a designer in Ohio, if every other designer is doing, gowns, I'm not gonna then go and do gowns because it's already a gown designer or 50 in this city. Maybe I'll go make men's suits because nobody else in the city is making men's suits. How about that?
Right.
If you're a model, say everyone around me is doing these boring ass jeans and t-shirt shoots. Let me find me a Blake and buy me a $40 Amazon suit and let him pour fake blood on me and let's get some editorial magic. What are you doing that's different than everybody else in the room? Because that's what then pushes your name out there, right? And so I say this, I give this example all the time. I worked with a company, and some of you may or may not know the company, girls may know it, but it's called Kaleidoscope Hair Care. And they're a huge hair care brand. They're owned by a woman named Judy. She's the wife of rapper DeBrat. They're like $1 billion hair care company. And one day I got a DM from her. It was like, "I want to shoot you. I want to shoot with you. I want you to shoot my campaign." And I was like, I'm not gonna turn it down, but also your wife is the brat, you're a celebrity, you know everybody in the world. You live in Atlanta, Georgia, where a ton of photographers are. Why me? And she was like, "Well, do you remember 3 weeks ago where you had a week of uploading nothing but LGBT models and like romantic, sexy imagery?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was Pride, and I wanted to do something for gay pride." And she was like, "That's what made me notice you because no other photographer I saw this year was shooting gay models. And it was something about your boldness to do that that made me fall in love with you. Tell me how much to send. I don't care what the cost is." And she on the spot zelled $50,000.
Wow.
But it was like, I just was like, well, anybody else gonna do nothing for Pride? I'll do something for Pride. And I posted, "I need two male models comfortable kissing each other. Hit me up." Simple. I shot, for Kirk Franklin. And I asked Kirk Franklin, like, I know my work is a little very much not appropriate for the church. Uh, why me? He was like, "That's exactly why I want you, because I went to your page and it felt like nothing that anybody else is doing." So I say that to tell you to push in your creativity because that's what gets you noticed. And I know we're talking about Vogue, but all of it is Vogue. All of it is the top echelon of gigs and clients and all of that. There are things I've shot, someone will book me, and I'm like, "I don't know what this is or who this is. I'm just going to do my best." And then somebody in New York was like, "This look like your work." And I'm like, "That is my work." On the side of the Verizon building. What the hell? How did that happen? But you never know who your work is reaching, right? So if you push and be creative and give yourself that leverage, of being different and being business minded and only shooting or showing things that are aligned with what you want to do. That's how you get to the Vogues of the world.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I appreciate those stories. And it's really like, I think bringing together the entire picture here of everything you're saying is being your own individual self, going after what it is that you want, despite what everybody else is doing, and having clarity and intention on direction. And just to kind of circle this back to now the steps of being featured in these types of magazines, like we've,
Mhm.
we dove deep on the mindset and how you're able to get to those different positions and the journey of you to get there as well. But like more, I guess, tangibly, the requirements of these magazines. Do they tell you there has to be a certain resolution file? Do they say there has to be so many people involved? Like there has to be a hair, a makeup, and a designer involved in the project? Or what are they actually saying to you before you can even send in something that is worth their time to look at?
For bigger clients or in general or for specific?
For Vogue or Elle or GQ.
Yeah, so typically it's just a pitch, right? So you're putting together a mood board of just showing them what you're thinking about doing. I'm thinking about editorial shoot, one male model, suit, color palette of pink, blue, and gray, water element, and what they're mainly looking for is what the story is and how many pages it's going to cover. So, what the story is, meaning that's what, and I think that's the other piece that people miss. Editorial is not just interesting image. Editorial, because it's a publication, really is going, what is the story of your photos? It's not just, oh, I took six pretty pictures. It has to be, okay, I'm thinking about it and I'm gonna just I see a Matt Phipps in the room. So let's just say, okay, I'm gonna shoot with Matt. And again, it's gonna be a suit, editorial shoot on the beach. I want to have a water element. Okay, so I know for my shot list, first shot is Matt in nice clean suit arriving to the beach. And the vibe is he came to the beach to propose to his girlfriend because they're in a long relationship and he's in love and he wants to propose. Okay, great. Then second photo is him looking confused on the beach because where is his girlfriend? Okay, then third photograph is him sitting in the sand because now it's been 2 hours and he's been waiting on the girl and she's not showing up and blah 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 blah. Okay, fourth photo is it's really fucking hot. So now he's come out of the blazer, he's come out of the shirt, he's just wearing shirt and tie. And now it's fifth photo and he notices the girl isn't gonna show up. So now he's ready to kill himself. So now he's taken off everything but his underwear and he's dove into the water and you see the suit in the sand, dirty and crusty and all of that, in the background behind him. Now the last and sixth photo of him sexy coming out the water, realizing I don't need her, I'm me and I'm sexy and did it. What's the story of the pictures? Now, realistically, it's just six pictures. But as I'm going through, you should be able to see, oh, I understand the story. I get it. Now, the great thing about editorial is I know my intention. Chris could look at it and create a whole different narrative story. Then Timothy could look at it and create a whole nother narrative story. But the point of an editorial is there's a story. I really don't care what you think the story is after I publish it, as long as there's a story being followed. So that's a mistake that a lot of people do. We took six great pictures. They are great pictures, but they don't tell a story.
Right.
They don't follow a film. Your six pictures to literally be a mini movie. What's the story you're following?
So this story of collection of images that you desire to create, you have to first maybe even sit down with yourself or a team, plan this out, make a mood board, choose an emotion, a location, a style, make all the necessary planning that you need to create this story. And then
Correct.
you have to know how to actually shoot it and create it and work with people who can pose and give that emotion and expression.
Correct.
So everybody has their piece of the puzzle that they're
Correct.
adding to bring that idea to life. And all of that happens just before you even email them or submit or tell them, hey, I want to get published, or how much is it to, if I want to feature these images. You have to first start with the planning process to know we have to create this storyline based on the set requirements that this magazine has. Uh,
Yep.
and
And
then
most editorial shoots are planned at least 2 to 3 months before you even pick up a camera.
2 to 3 months of
Now,
plan.
can you get it done in 2 weeks? Yes, but then you should be working with people who know what the hell they're doing. I've shot an editorial like it's Monday, we're shooting an editorial on Thursday. I've done it in 48 hours, but it's with people like my hair team know what they're doing, my makeup person know what they're doing. This model is phenomenal. Everyone knows what they're doing. I don't really have to explain too much. They can look at the mood board and just get it. Bless you, Paris. They can just look at the mood board and just get it. If you're not working with people that can get it fast, you take time. Which is why people don't also realize if you see something in the July issue of Vogue, that was shot in March. And that was probably being planned in December.
Yeah,
Like right now, I'm shooting a campaign for GQ for holiday. In 2 weeks, I'm shooting Christmas images. And we've been talking about it since March.
love it. Love it, love it. I think I mean the value is definitely here. The comments are going crazy. People are sending emojis and taking notes. How many of y'all are taking notes right now? Let me see. Say yes in the chat if like this. No, actually, no, skip that. Don't even type yes, because I already know the answer to the question. Let's go scale from 1 to 10. How fire is this information tonight? Scale
You
from
can
one
say
to
one, I promise.
10
And if
being
you have questions, I want to be able to answer them before Christopher kick me. So if you have questions, put them in the chat so that I can make sure I answer and clarify anything for you guys too.
tens, tens, tens around the board,
Yes, give me
100.
tens across the board.
A
I live.
million, tens across the board. One, what was that, 10,000 out of 10? Somebody said 9 out of 10. Oh, we gotta do a little better.
Okay, I'm gonna step it up for you, Luis. I promise. Get it together. I'm trying
Uh,
to be fine. I love the honesty.
so-
But okay, I saw one question that I do want to answer. Since it's summer, start working on winter vibes. Yes. So if you when you're thinking about editorials, um, you are always a season or two ahead. So I put it in the perspective of Victoria's Secret when they have their sports, oh well, not Victoria's Secret, I'm sorry, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover. They shoot that in November or December, and it comes out in July. So those models look like, oh, we're having a great time in summer on the beach, and baby, they're in freezing cold temperatures. It's always a season or two ahead. Is there a union association for models, something like SAG-AFTRA, one that's provided resource for models who are members? No, well, it may be. I'm not familiar, but that's what your agency is for. They are your union, they are your protection. That's what your agency is for. Someone asked earlier, let me just see. I want to make sure. Would be amazing. I'm learning through experience of how to set my rates and fees according to how much work is involved many times. Okay, so I think this person, Shayland, I believe, I don't want to pronounce it wrong. Is it Shayland? Thank you. So Shayland asked about the Kaleidoscope campaign and the 50,000 and what that breakdown was like. So I'll just kind of make it very quick. From that 50,000, I netted $2,500. As the photographer, I took home $2,500 from a $50,000 shoot because we had to pay location. Location was 10,000 alone. Then we had to hire 10 models that got paid $1,000 each for the day. So that's another $10,000 gone. Then the hair and makeup team, each one of them was about 1,000, 1,500, some of them 2 grand for the day. And then you got catering because you got to feed everybody for a 14-hour shoot. I have to feed you at least 3 times. I got to feed you breakfast when you get there, lunch, and then I got to feed you a wrap up here, time to go meal. Then you have licenses and insurance, and then you got all of my photography equipment if I need to rent something. And then for a shoot that big as the photographer, I'm not in the room shooting alone. I need 3 assistants. I need a lighting person. I need a tether person. I have to pay all of them all of the money that they're requiring. And then you have a wardrobe stylist that needs all the things. For this particular shoot, I had a model that the brand really, 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 really wanted, but that model had to bring her child to the shoot. So I had to hire childcare. One of the models, because of the campaign, was pregnant. There's a certain level of insurance and a healthcare professional that has to be on set if you work with a model that is pregnant. So that person got paid $750 for the day. So out of 50,000, photographers are like, oh my God, so much money. I'm like, back it up. I made $2,500. That's it.
Wow. Wow. I, I have so many questions about that alone, but we're going to save some of this. So if everybody's already dropping tens, 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 1000s, this is just like maybe 30 minutes of a conversation between Blake and I on one subject. I feel the need to remind you at this point that Blake is one of many speakers who is coming to ModelCon Los Angeles this October 18th, and we'll be speaking for an hour on stage on a variety of different subjects. We won't be able to get as deep as we have just on this one alone, but if you want to see Blake at ModelCon this year, you want to learn from him some more, you want to get a chance to meet him in person, shake hands, then you definitely want to be in the room. By the way, I'm just going to drop the website so you can see what badges are looking like. We have three different choices for you to do that. Join modelcon.com, and that's the how, right? Join modelcon.com. That's how you get in the room and meet individuals just like Blake who are going to be pouring into you all day, all weekend long. By the way, we are planning the fashion show on day two. Blake is also going to be part of our runway instructor team. So if you get selected for that show, then our team and Blake will be coaching those models for at least 2 hours prior to show start to make sure that you are up to par and walking that runway to the standards and requirements that we have for the show. So we're really excited to have you there, excited for more conversations to dig deeper, and excited for that training as well, because I know it's going to be all amazing across the board.
Who
Uh,
here is coming to ModelCon? I just want to see hands. If you're coming and I'm going to see you, where are you? Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I cannot wait to meet all of you and see all of you and pour into you and have a great time and learning and educating. It's going to be so good. And this was cool, but when I get on that stage on ModelCon, it gets good. It gets real good.
So if you guys have questions for Blake before we get to ModelCon, definitely email them to me. We'll see if we can add them to our conversation piece that we have on stage. Again, I know you have a very busy schedule. You've taken time out of your day to be here with us today, and again, we appreciate that. Any other words that you'd like to express before I let you go?
Um, just be confident in your work. Always be pushing the boundaries in your work. Always be setting a standard for your work. And if you want something, it can happen for you. If you work hard enough and focused enough and have enough intention, everything you want is in your grasp, no matter where you are or what you do.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Thank you again, Blake. I look forward to seeing you soon, and you have a great rest of your night.
Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in October. Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Let's see any other questions here that dropped in. A bunch of thank yous to Blake. Yeah, that's monochrome. That's us. That's what we do, and we're giving value here every week. And next week, I'm not sure who our next caller will be. Our next guest speaker will be on the call, I should say. But we do have an amazing model who will be joining us here in about 2 weeks. She was on America's Next Top Model, Kiara Bellin, a guest speaker who is on our model panel, but also a she is a model coach and the owner of the Fashion Life Tour, a worldwide production company that hosts shows all around the world. So especially if you're a model on this call and you want to learn how to be in fashion shows and walk all across the world in London, Paris, Cayman Islands, Miami, LA, New York, if that's your goal, then you definitely want to be on the call with our next guest speaker from America's Next Top Model, Kiara Bellin, and we're going to dive deep about those types of opportunities and how you can create more opportunities for yourself to do those things. Let's see here. Any more questions, comments? Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Christopher. Great info. See you at ModelCon. Lizette says. Bree says, wow, absolutely. Thank you guys for being here. I mean, we're here. We're here. We're real people, and we aim to help. So if there's no other questions, Obed says, as someone new to the modeling industry and ambitious, what are some things I should do in order to be ready to get the opportunities? Well, first and foremost, you got to take your digitals. You know what I mean? Learn how to pose, learn how to deliver a variety of expressions and poses. And when you do that, first step is usually taking your digitals. If you don't know what digitals are, I have a YouTube video that we've created. Send me a message on Instagram. I'll send you a link to that so you can understand what they look like, how you should pose in them, what the lighting should be, etc. So first work on your craft, on your skill. A lot of what Blake was talking about on this call started with the mindset and developing the skill. Once you have that, then you can get way more opportunities than you would if you're still feeling a little uncomfortable in front of the camera. So spend the time to work on yourself there, but not too much time. Don't overthink it, right? Take action. Start with the digitals, take your measurements, create a comp card, and start the submission process. Like, I think clarity and direction is the main thing I'm taking away from the conversation with Blake, and is what I want a lot of more models to have as well. Clarity on direction. Decide what lane you want to go after, and go after that full force with all that you got. So first work on the skill, then take your digitals, start submitting. That's where you get the paid opportunities. How do I upgrade my badge? Rosalind says, so send me a message. Yeah, you essentially, Nissa already answered that. You essentially would just pay the difference. So if you want to upgrade your badge to VIP or to Diamond, reach out to us. We'll verify which level that you have, and then we'll let you know what the difference will be so that you can make that happen for you. Yeah, it's not on the site. You have to reach out to us individually so that we can send you a special link for it. Annabelle says, thank you, Chris and Blake, for the info today. I learned a few things. Absolutely. Thank you for being here, Annabelle. Miriam, this was great. Thanks. All right. I appreciate y'all. We've been here for almost 2 hours, I feel like, hour and 45 minutes. So I'm going to let y'all go.
Wow.
Be here next week, and I can't wait to see you again. Have a good night.